Hey everybody, Eric Isham, founder and CEO at OmniCommander, and today I'm at our headquarters with AVP of Video Production, none other than E4.
There you go.
Tell everybody what AVP stands for.
It's aspirations to be vice president.
He's the aspiring vice president. He's coming for that VP
I'm
role.
working on it.
That's what's up. So speaking of working on it, we were talking earlier about the difference between in-house video production, which we do a lot of in-house video production for our clients.
And ourselves, obviously.
And ourselves. We do a lot of, that would actually be in-house.
Yeah.
But then the differences between that and actually going on site with credit unions and what that means and how impactful that is and the difference. So one of the things I think a lot of people probably don't realize is all the energy and effort that goes into it before you ever get on site at a credit union. Why don't you walk us through a little
100%.
bit about what all that looks like with you and your team?
Yeah. So, I mean, it all starts with a kickoff call, similar to how websites go and every other product really that we have at OmniCommander. It all starts with a kickoff call. So the first thing that I try to find out from our partners is what is the purpose that you want out of this video? What is the goal? What are you looking for? Are you looking to expand your membership? Are you looking to reach people that you've never reached before? Are you looking to get into those Gen Z, Gen X type brackets, age groups?
Yeah.
And how do you want to get there?
Okay.
So once I get those answered, I typically go back to the drawing board after that first call and I start the pre-production phase. Now, like you said, this is probably a month before we even think about going on site to visit these clients. So I go straight to the drawing board. I start working on scheduling for possible interviews that I think would be impactful for the client. And then also I'll work on storyboards. And even before that, I'll start working on scripting.
Okay.
So a thing that I've been very passionate about, and it's something that I studied in college, was script writing. So people underestimate how valuable the story is being told with that verbiage. So I spend a lot of time on that. And then once I get those deliverables ready, I present them to the client in the next call. If they're happy with it, then we move forward to scheduling and figuring out, are we going to bring in members for testimonials? Are we going to highlight employees on the staff? Are we going to bring them in, bring the CEO in, say, for a branding video? So
what you're saying is you don't just hop in the mobile command unit, show up and start shooting video.
No, absolutely not. And something too that goes into it is that planning of travel.
Right.
So a lot of the times,
you guys got a busy schedule. There's a lot of clients all over the country that you're going and doing this for.
100%. And a lot of them are, say, on the West Coast or in the Midwest, and we can't drive there.
You could.
Okay. Fair enough. So my longest drive here at OmniCommander was to Frontier, one of our great clients.
Okay, so we went to Kansas.
16 hours took us to drive there. We took the mobile command unit and we had all the equipment. That's the best part about driving to visit our partners is we have all the
equipment. You take everything with you.
Literally everything.
Right.
So
I bet that Michael and Letha fed you when you got there too.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They're
good hosts.
Fantastic.
They
hosts.
are. They were. I was there recently.
But when we go and we have to fly there, it's a whole different story.
Sure.
I'm having to freaking put my OCD brain to work and pack these small crates into fit all these things that are around us currently. And that is hard. It is really hard. There's a lot of logistics that go into that. And
you've rented some equipment before too in the Northeast, right? And you're like, I'm just going to rent that locally because it doesn't make sense to take it. Yeah.
Whenever we get fortunate enough to be in situations where a client's near a nice city, say Kansas, for instance, we go into Kansas City, there'll be a rental house there. So that's for camera equipment. You'll go there, you can put in a rental You sign some documentation
Right.
and go pick up the
I know
stuff
we
and
did that
take
in
it to the shoot.
Manhattan, up in New York as well. So,
Absolutely.
so once you're on site, we've done the storyboarding. You've got all the shots that you want to get.
Yep.
Talk to me a little bit about how you set up those scenes, how you go through, and each credit union's different. We've got some credit unions that are brand new, gorgeous locations. Some of
100%.
them are a little bit more dated and tired.
Yeah.
That you have to kind of shoot around some of that. So walk us through
Yeah.
some of that on site when you get there, getting those shots.
Yeah. So like we talked about previously, it all goes back to that pre-production planning. So if we go in and I say, hey, so and so at ABC Credit Union, can you do a walkthrough of your branch for me while I'm on the call, while I'm on Zoom, or take some photos for me, what you think looks good? Then we'll get those photos back, and I'm able to say, like, okay, that would be a great spot for shooting. That would be a great spot for shooting. But to even go a step further, I tend to plan our weeks when we go to visit these credit unions very strategically. So Monday's always the travel day, obviously. But when we land on Monday, if we have spare time, if the flights aren't late, so on, if we get to on site, I'll go straight to the credit union and I'll say, I want to just walk around. And I will look for a specific spot that I think, oh my gosh, like a credit union member sees this, they're gonna love this. This is
Okay.
gorgeous. Say we just went to Members Choice. I want to shout them out because gorgeous branch, like
Hmm.
you said, newer branch. And the branding around the branch was just it's everywhere. So
Right.
and that's what we want for all of our partners. But right when you walk in the door, you see a beautiful logo in the background, and it's a circle shape lobby.
Hmm.
So everything draws your eye directly to that logo. So I knew for a fact that I wanted to shoot there.
Hmm.
You go to a second spot. We went upstairs, and right on the back wall it says "Serving our community since 1932" on the wall.
That's a great shot.
Gorgeous.
Got to get that.
And I was like, okay, boom, another interview spot. So I knew for a fact that I had two guaranteed spots that would look good, had great lighting, because that's a big thing.
Hmm.
We want natural light most of the time, but we do also have our artificial light, as some people might like to call it. But
It's a giant thing right here, blasting my face. It's making it very hot in the room too.
yes,
So
100%. LED can get hot, especially the big batteries that we use to power these things. But like I said, natural light, normally the best thing. But if we can't run with natural light, we bring our own light with us. So that is the two things that I typically look for as soon as we get there. And then I'm like, okay, we have Deborah coming in. She's a member. We want to make her comfortable. Maybe she's not going to want to sit in the
right,
middle of the lobby
right.
and talk while people are walking through doing
And
transactions.
that's a whole challenge too, right? So I've been on some of your shoots before, and
Mhm.
E4 is one of the best in the business of getting people comfortable in front of the camera
Thank you.
that may not spend a lot of time in front of a camera, right? So Deborah, she's maybe a 70-year-old member of a credit union that's been there for 40 years or whatever, and
Yeah.
while she might be very passionate about the credit union, passionate about all the things that the credit union's done for her over the years and probably her extended family, sometimes that red light goes on and people are just like, "Ee," and
Yeah.
I've watched you do this very good. And this is
Thank you.
that's a skill. That's a whole. And sometimes it can be a challenge, right?
Yeah.
Just trying to get the story in a way that can be that 30-second soundbite that you can use in a promotional video for that
Sure.
credit union. And again, it always looks gorgeous at the end of it once you put everything together and it's ready for delivery. But the road to get those sound bites or to get those angles or to get that magic on camera, that doesn't just happen.
No, absolutely not. It is a challenge, but it's something that I truly love about this job. Like I love what I do. And it's very rare that people get that opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So like when these cameras are going and I'm behind there talking to these people, like I genuinely am just so excited to be doing what I'm doing because it's what I feel like I was meant to do.
Yeah.
Right. So not everyone gets that opportunity. So it's very exciting for me. But to take it a step further again, I just genuinely care and enjoy learning about people.
Mm-hmm.
So normally whenever I go in to do a member testimonial, it's not scripted. I'll send them a questionnaire. We always send questionnaires before we go on shoots. to have them say like, how long have you been with the credit union? What's your favorite experience with the credit union? What products do you have with the credit union, and so on. So I have a general basis of knowing like who this person is and why they're here.
Mm-hmm.
But 9 times out of 10, I'm asking about their family. I'm asking about what car they drive. I'm asking about what they do on the weekends,
Mm-hmm.
because those things take the cameras away.
Right.
They
Yeah.
start focusing on me and our conversation. And as soon as that happens, that's when the stuff starts
And
to
I think
flow.
it comes through. So when all of us that get to see the finished product,
Mhm.
you just get that person that's excited, they're smiling, they're telling their story,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of that goes into it.
Yeah.
So you typically, when you're on site doing custom video creation at a credit union, that's usually a 3-person crew. Is that what you take with you? Is it sometimes 2, but sometimes 3?
Correct. Perfect scenario would be 3.
Okay. And what's the reason for 3 people? Walk me through that.
So really, time and efficiency.
Okay.
I mean, that's a standard across OmniCommander in general.
Yeah.
That's something that we're very cognizant of, is time and efficiency. So, um, being able to break down this stuff, build it up, move it to a new location. Like I said, Members Choice had 2 different great locations. We shot with the CEO in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and shortly after, I mean, 15 minutes after we were done with him, the next person was there to shoot, and we had to move all the equipment downstairs.
Got it.
So, having in that situation, we had 2 people. Would it have been great to have 3? 100%. But we always are very adaptable to our situation, and that's what makes us such a great team at the end of the day, is we all have a flow. And I'm in a perfect I'm in a great position to be a director and have the guys really trust me and my decision making. So when I say, hey, I need a 35 millimeter lens on this camera. Hey, I need a 50 millimeter lens on this camera, and we're going to move downstairs. I want you to set up the boom mic, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're like, yep, got it.
So, you keep talking about the branches, but you guys
Yeah.
do a lot of shooting offsite. I know that you were
Sure.
out in Texas,
Yeah.
and you actually went to one of our credit union CEO's house
Yeah.
and got some footage of the kids playing in the pool, and you got some
Yeah.
neighborhood kids to be part of this video
Yeah.
that you put. Amazing, amazing,
you.
amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about, like, how does that come about? Like, okay, we're doing stuff with the members. We're in the lobby. We're at the branches. And
Yeah.
I know you do stuff like in historic sites around the towns if there's something famous or something
100%.
that the town can relate to when they're seeing that video.
Yeah.
But this was actually at the CEO's house.
Yeah. So that was a very unique opportunity. And that is something that I feel like our team is pushing towards. Everything we make is very polished. I love everything that we create as a team for our partners, whether that's telling a story, building up your brand, whatever it is. But making commercials with real people
Mm-hmm.
is a whole different level. And that was the first time that we got to experience pulling in a member. That was a member and her family of 4 kids, getting to wrangle them to be
You had a
great.
car scene too, didn't
Yeah.
you? Yeah. You're in the car. You're in
Yeah.
the house. You're in the pool.
Yeah,
That's a lot of shots. And again, as a
100%.
viewer, you're just like, oh yeah, that's just normal. But you have to go set up each of those shots to
Correct.
put that together.
Correct. And to be honest, not to get too in the weeds on it, I think we shot maybe 50 shots.
Really?
Yeah. People.
If anybody's still watching this segment, they're into the weeds, by the way.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
they're like, okay,
That's
I'm
fair.
learning some stuff here.
That's fair. Yeah, we shot about 50 shots.
Okay.
So that's basically every shot that's in the commercial at least 5 or 6 different times in 5 or 6 different ways, because I had the vision of the commercial and what we wanted,
Mm-hmm.
but I just wanted to make sure, I don't want to leave anything
Right.
missing when I leave that set, because like you said, we were in Texas
Yeah, sure.
shooting with a member and her family.
You got to capture it.
I have to do it
Right.
right now. Like,
Right.
I have 2 hours to do this. Like, that's it.
So once you wrap up the shoot on site,
Mhm.
this is really when the magic comes into play. So like you said
100%.
there, all the shots from that particular scene.
Yeah.
And then you come back here to headquarters. This is where a majority of your staff are at.
Yep.
Do you have any kind of idea how many gigabytes, how much footage, how much digital footage are you bringing back with
Yeah.
you from a shoot? Do you have any idea?
Yeah.
A
So
lot.
I do. So just so the people watching, 256 gigabytes on our personal SD cards.
Okay.
We have 6 of them.
All right.
We'll fill each of those normally in a day.
Each of those.
Correct.
So that's over a terabyte. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
a lot.
I offload footage every night when we go to shoot.
Okay.
So
And you're pushing that up to the cloud so that
Correct.
your editors back here can start taking that and look. Okay.
correct. And then if anything, I'll send it over, have them look at it and say like, yeah, this looks good. Audio sounds good. Because if we're in a good situation where we can bring in that member, say the member comes in and things go well, or something, the audio goes out halfway through the interview, I don't notice. I'll send everything off for the night to the guys at home. They review it, say, hey, this is what happened, must have had a corrupt file. And I'm like, okay, I'll call so and so, tell her, hey, we need her to come back. Now that's an unfortunate situation. It rarely happens because we always run backups for everything. We
Right.
2 cameras, 2 audio sources, the whole 9 yards. But God forbid something happens with the footage, files, whatever. I'll call them up. Hey, we got a review done and the audio unfortunately messed up. Could we get you to come back?
Got it.
And while we're there, they will.
Right.
A lot of the
Right.
times they will. So yeah, we always have a fail safe, and the guys being here while we're out is a huge part of that.
So once we wrap up the on-site shoot,
Mhm.
you guys are back in the office. You're going through all the footage that you've got, and so we're
Mhm.
now we're working through things what you'd call in post.
Yeah.
Walk me through kind of how that comes to life. Right
Mhm.
now, you're starting to add soundtracks. You're
Yeah.
splicing video. You're doing all the
Yeah.
obviously everything we're doing we're going to make ADA compliant. So you're having to with the
Yes.
final product adding
Captions.
copy captions in
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, 100%. So the first thing that we do when we come back home and start to organize everything, that's the biggest thing, organize and dispersion. So we put all the files in Google Drive throughout, because Google Drive is our selected storage. We go in there and I organize everything. So I will say, this is the cameras for so-and-so's interview, this is the audio for her interview. And once all of that is done for the entire shoot, then I'm like, okay, guys, take it.
Mhm.
So we'll have it mapped out, which we use Monday as a CMS, and we'll say like, okay, this is her interview, his interview, a branding video. We already know what we're going to be doing as soon as we get back. And to reiterate, like we talked about earlier with pre-production, there's already storyboards there. So the story's laid out. Now you have the footage to put with
Got it.
So the creation process for those commercials and those stories should be relatively easy. So we put things together based on those storyboards, and then the audio is really the fun part,
Okay.
because once you get their audio to sound great, you can have fun with the music. The music tells a lot.
Mhm.
People don't
No, is it
people
going to be
underestimate.
upbeat? Are we doing something sentimental?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So depending on what audio and music you select for the video, it really will just change the tone of the entire project. So a lot of the time, that's a big part of our selection process. And then, like you said, we're working in post production as a team, working through the project as quickly as possible. I like to flex and say that we typically have these projects. So a lot of times we go on shoots, it's for our big clients, which they have packages that range from 4 to 6 videos
Mhm.
typically.
Mhm.
So I like to flex and say that we will always have those videos, all of them completely done through QA, through the client's approval process, everything in 30 days.
So talk to me a little bit about that when we talk about client approval process.
Sure.
That's got to be the best part of your job when you're actually presenting the finished
Oh, I love it.
product to the
Absolutely.
clients. Walk me through how you guys do that.
Absolutely. So once we get to a stopping point, we have an internal design review, which is very important to us. We get feedback from our peers on what they think about the commercial before the client even sees it. So once we get their feedback and their approval, we move it into the client approval process. And by then we're like rock solid. We're like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, they're going to love this. Like we're so excited about it. And 9 times out of 10, no edits.
That's awesome.
Very rare might say, hey, could we use this shot? Like, because the clients that we go on these shoots for are very much with us while we're doing things. So we call it shooting B-roll whenever we're going around the community.
Right.
So whenever we're shooting those shots around the community, the client will be with us and they'll say like, hey, we love this statue
Got it.
in the middle of our town, and we'd love to highlight that every member will recognize that. So say we don't use that in the cut. It doesn't make the cut. We send it to the client and the client's like, hey, we want that statue. So we pull it and put it in the cut.
Got it.
It's never, hey, can we restructure? Hey, can we change the music? It's never big things. It's
Yeah,
always just little minute things. But 9 times out of 10, 0 edits. And we're really happy on both ends with the project. And then we move to QA and accessibility, like you said. Make those captions for the video so they can go on whatever platform they need to. And then it's rock and roll after that.
Love it. So if somebody watching this video
Mhm.
was like, I'm interested in that, I'd love E4 and the team to come out to the credit union and help tell our story and help really capture what we mean to our community
Yeah.
by really focusing on our staff, on
Yeah.
our branches, on our members. How can they learn more to do that?
I mean, very easy. Just go to omnicommander.com.
There you go, omnicommander.com. He's E4, I'm Eric. If you want to learn more about what we're doing with on-site custom video creation, go to omnicommander.com. Make sure you're hitting the like, the follow, any of that other stuff we want to do here.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. And this is E4's channel, so please subscribe
Let's go.
and tell your friends. Thanks so much.
Thank you.